If you thought VCD was the only CD-based movie format, well, there was also the more obscure MovieCD. I always find these very short-lived movie formats really interesting, and if you blinked in the mid-90s, you would have missed MovieCD. It's a full-length feature film for your PC! So yeah, this was marketed as a movie format that you could watch on Windows 95 or even Windows 3.1. Really, guys? Are you serious? MovieCD came out in 1996, which is a time where I'd say most people weren't really wanting to watch full-length movies on their PCs, which is likely one of the main reasons why this disappeared so quickly. Though imagine all the power of Shredder on my Windows 95 PC, or even Windows 3.1! So one of the selling points of this format was you didn't need any additional hardware or software to run this, and no MPEG required. The video files on these CDs are AVIs encoded with the MVI2, aka Motion Pixels codec. The Motion Pixels codec was developed by Christian Huygen and David Whipple. And if you look at the video information of these files, you'll see these two guys' names just repeated over and over until it can't anymore. So we got our minimum system requirements of Windows 3.1 or 95, a 486 or 66 processor, 8 megabytes of RAM, just hard drive space, a double-speed CD-ROM drive, local bus video adapter with 1 megabyte RAM, 128 kilobyte level 2 cache, 100% Sound Blaster Pro compatible sound card, mouse, and speakers. And I guess if you want to play good, you should have 16 megabytes RAM and a quad-speed CD-ROM drive. So it's quite a limited selection that you can actually find on MovieCD, but of course I had to pick up Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Mortal Kombat since those are two of my favorite movies that made it to this format. And yes, it took 2 CDs to fully watch a movie on this format, just like it did with VCD. So yeah, that'd be nice and annoying to have to switch your disc halfway through the movie, and you're not even getting the bonus of the extra quality that Laserdisc gave you where you had to do that. Based on the price tag that was on the Ninja Turtle one, it looks like they are kind of trying to get rid of these by that point. And kind of interestingly, on an archive of the old Sirius site, you can see that you used to be able to buy these without the packaging for a bit cheaper. Though I'd be quite upset not to have this clamshell packaging for 2 CDs, because that's quite interesting. This package style was more common with audiobooks on CD back in the day, and that weird French Learn English with Ghostbusters movie I got has this style. So we can watch movies, music videos, comedies, cartoons, sports, and more. Works on your home office and portable computers. Use away from home, at school, planes, trains, and in cars. Guess they didn't want to go with planes, trains, and automobiles. Guess that movie wasn't on this format. Watch a MovieCD while using applications such as word processing, spreadsheets, email, the internet, and others. Wow. Imagine the multitasking. Doubles as an extra household VCR, ideal for the kids. I do love the VCR in massive sarcasm quotes. You can take a break from work, or it's just for fun. Watching a movie just for fun, that'll be the day. Sirius Publishing, who put out the MovieCD, was based out of Scottsdale, Arizona, and they don't exist anymore, so trying to ring them ain't gonna do you too much.
Who we gonna call?
I find it kinda interesting that the transfer rate on these two movies isn't the same, so the transfer rate they have listed for Mortal Kombat is 196 kilobytes a second, and we get the extra transfer rate of 202 kilobytes a second for Turtles. Man, it's going to be so clear. So they have the Studio, Windows, and Sirius logos all listed here on the backs of these things. But kind of funny, on the back of Mortal Kombat, they have under license in Canada from Alliance Video. And Alliance Video were also the ones who released Ninja Turtles on home video in Canada. So if these MovieCDs were just being made for retail in both the US and Canada, it's kind of weird that this isn't also listed listed on the Ninja Turtles one. I think MovieCD would be one of, if not the first release of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on home video to use the theatrical poster for the cover. Though if you really look closely at this, you can tell the way they copied this wasn't really perfect. So besides our 2 CDs, inside the MovieCD case, we also get, some instructions and stuff telling us how to use this thing. In addition to installing the Motion Pixels codec, the CDs would also install a dedicated MovieCD player. It's the newest CD-ROM sensation! That'll be true forever! But I am just really amazed that MovieCD transforms your personal computer into your very own personal entertainment center! Enjoy TV quality, full motion, full screen video! Not really true!
Gnarly! Radical! Yeah! Totally ridiculous, dude! Where do you get these guys?
If it doesn't say Motion Pixels, it's not MovieCD. And in most cases, you'd probably be glad it didn't say Motion Pixels. The Motion Pixels codec, I guess, is extremely buggy on modern systems, at least according to Wikipedia. But luckily, my friend Steve had access to a Windows XP computer at his work and was able to convert these for me.
What?
Whoa, I got a MovieCD registration card. I hope it's not too late to, register my movies for some reason. We hope you enjoy your new MovieCD from Sirius Publishing. You should experience near TV picture quality on your computer screen. So now it's the bit more accurate near TV. We also have some troubleshooting tips on here, like, if the playback's jerky, basically all these come down to is, close everything else. Or maybe you've got the wrong driver loaded, or bunch of hardware issues, which, you're not going to have any of these issues if you just popped a VHS and a VCR. And really, that's the main issue with MovieCD as a format. It's less convenient, and also it's worse quality than VHS. So my Mortal Kombat MovieCD came with a MovieCD product catalog, and the Ninja Turtles one didn't, and that one was brand new, so maybe MovieCD was already on its deathbed by the time that was released. Doing it first, doing it best! Seriously cancelled! So some of the MovieCDs would have these labels on them to tell you, immediately what kind of movie they were. The Ninja Turtles and Mortal Kombat are just labeled feature film. And I guess we're really promoting the fact that you can get The Mask on MovieCD. But some of the titles you could get on MovieCD just kind of seemed random. Like, okay, you could get A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, and Wes Craven's New Nightmare, and those were the only Nightmare on Elm Street movies on the format, it seems. Also, I'm glad there was a movie called that. What a probably fun NC-17 title that is. So we go from Betty Boop cartoons to, And Night of the Living Dead was on here because it's in public domain, so of course it was. Oh man, Sex Madness. This would be one of the perfect movies for the kids. Lawnmower Man and Lawnmower Man 2 are on here, but those kind of seem like they were made to be on something silly like MovieCD. Oh, damn it, Michelle! Computer Animation Festival Volume 1. Well, you know what? The quality of MovieCD would probably only improve how early computer animation looks.
And now for a taste of things to come.
These MovieCDs open with the Sirius Motion Pixels MovieCD bumper, which is one of many things about them that make you think you're about to play an old FMV game rather than watch a movie. So one of the first major issues with MovieCD's picture is the resolution, which is about half that of regular standard definition, which in a full frame is 640 by 480. The resolution on the MovieCDs isn't even consistent, it seems, as Mortal Kombat comes comes in at 320 by 236, and TMNT is slightly smaller with a resolution of 320 by 224. So here's what that looks like, not scaled up to fit the 1080p frame. Pretty wonderful. The frame rate is also quite low. Most sources seem to list the MovieCD's frame rate as being 16 frames per second, but both the Mortal Kombat and TMNT MovieCD's frame rates are actually 14.985 FPS. Again, this is below half of the 30 frames per second, or 29.97 of a standard VHS recording, though most films were actually recorded in 24 FPS. You can even see with the slightly smaller vertical resolution of TMNT compared to Mortal Kombat, it kind of crunches in the picture a bit, making the Sirius bumper at the beginning much more distorted and blocky looking. And really, overall, TMNT has fared a lot worse on MovieCD than Mortal Kombat. Though, as I mentioned earlier, with the decreased color depth and lower frame rate, it seems like we should be getting commands popping up on the screen to play Mortal Kombat the movie, the game.
Finish him!
You suck. Again?
They just got lazy with the brightness adjustment on Ninja Turtles, though, it seems. They've just upped the gain on the entire film. Probably so that some of the darker scenes in the movie wouldn't be mostly black with the smaller color palette. But this really blows out a lot of the brighter scenes in the movie, and this was not an issue when they transferred this movie to VHS. April looks like a ghost during a shot of her on a monitor, which normally doesn't look that bad at all. The audio kind of suffers on MovieCD as well, which is mono at the bitrate of 88 kilobits per second. This gives a much thinner sound compared to what you'd normally get on VHS. One site I found has rather detailed information on the Mortal Kombat MovieCD, but there's a rather weird discrepancy in what they detail on their disc versus what I have. Their disc 1 seems to be the same as mine, as it ends with Sonya finishing Kano, but according to them, disc 2 omits the Liu Kang vs. Katana and Sub-Zero fights, and just starts with a shot of Shang Tsung's island right before the Goro battles. Well, those two battles are very much on my Mortal Kombat MovieCD disc 2. The AVI file on my disc 2 is also larger than the file size they list, being 460 megabytes versus the 653 megabytes mine is. I can't imagine why those two scenes would be purposely cut. I mean, it's not like the violence in those scenes really exceeds anything else in the movie. And clearly, the movie still fits on the disc with these scenes included. So I'm thinking someone probably messed up on where the movie is meant to resume on disc 2 in some of the earlier runs of the discs. Unfortunately, I don't have a VCD of TMNT or Mortal Kombat for a direct comparison of MovieCD to that, but I do have a VCD of Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which does start the same as the first movie and has a recap of some scenes. VCD's video is still around half that of standard definition resolution, but it usually does have the full frame rates and a much fuller audio. The drawbacks to VCD are the blocky MPEG compression you can see in the picture, which has a lot more motion blur compared to MovieCD. MovieCD's picture also tends to be a lot sharper than VCD's in general. Though of course VCD never had much of a presence in North America as a legit home movie format, so it's mostly VHS that MovieCD was going up against. And really the only advantage it had was if you just really wanted to watch movies on the computer, which was something far less common in 1996. And as we got towards the end of the 90s, we had the rise of DVD, which probably crushed any of the little following this format had. And if we want to be really unfair, we can compare MovieCD to Blu-ray. Which is which? Really though, I can't imagine most people being okay with having the movie interrupted halfway through to have to change a disc without even having the quality boost at the very least like a Laserdisc offered. And instead having a quality decrease. I mean, except for the regions where VCD remained popular for quite a while, I guess. These MovieCD discs can also be extremely loud in the disk drive. I find it extremely fascinating they tried this CD home video format just geared towards people watching movies on the computer. I guess it was a bit ahead of its time in some respects and pretty far behind in others. VHS just looked and sounded better, and then of course DVD arrived shortly later and greatly increased home video quality, and you didn't need 2 discs just to finish a regular length movie. My Ninja Turtles movie CD was actually still sealed when I first got it, and I ruined it. Oh darn, guess I'm not gonna get that refund now.